side of a story.
Audio input model.
Both sides of a story.
To hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of a story. Both sides of a story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Take heed of this small child of earth. He is great. He hath in him God most high. Children before their fleshly birth are lights alive in the blue sky. In our light, bitter world of wrong they come. God gives us them a while. His speech is in their stammering tongue, and his forgiveness in their smile. Their sweet light rests upon our eyes. Alas, their right to joy is plain. If they are hungry, paradise weeps, and if cold, heaven thrills with pain. The want that saps their sinless flower speaks judgment on sin's ministers. Man holds an angel in his power. Ah, deep in heaven, what thunder stirs when God seeks out these tender things, whom in the shadow where we sleep he sends us clothed about with wings, and finds them ragged babes that weep.
Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts, and they will find love in the world. If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns to feel guilty. Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts, and they will find love in the world. If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate it. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice. Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their heart, and they will find love in the world. If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. If a child lives with acceptance and friendship, he learns to find love in the world. Children learn what they read.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and go again.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. And they will find love in the world.
If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns to feel guilty.
Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts, and they will find love in the world.
If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate it. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice.
Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in the heart. They will find love.
You can take the break when you're ready.
If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. If a child lives with acceptance and friendship, he learns to find love.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Looking for signage and branding for your business? Call the experts at Hieroglyphics Limited, located at 14 Bellatria Avenue, Kingston 10. We do all types of signs, including backlit signs, metal signs, rounded signs, channel letter signs, vehicle wraps, banners, and much more. Call us today at 876-906-6910 or 876-906-8196. Hieroglyphics Limited, taking you to the next level.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. They will find love in the world. Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts, and they will find love in the world.
If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns to feel guilty.
Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait.
child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate it. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice.
Children learn what they live. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, love in the heart. They will find love in the world.
If a child lives with security, he learns to
We started out this afternoon with the poetry of Victor Hugo, The Poor Children, and a piece composed, written by or based on a book by Dorothy Nolte and Rachel Harris, and the spoken word recording delivered by Les Crane, S-L-E-S, one word, or his first name, L-E-S, Crane, C-R-A-N-E. So that's the selection this afternoon in terms of poetry and spoken word recording. Children learn what they live, children live what they learn. Another timely reminder for those of us who are supposed to be gatekeepers in this country, those of us who are supposed to be adults and to do the right thing as adults. Let's remind ourselves always that the children are watching and they are listening. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration for Sustainable Development, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the third day of the fifth month of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. And, put another way, it's the third day of the 10th month of 2022. The International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. And as we said, it's the third day of the fifth month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Weather-wise, we have been told to brace ourselves for some more rain into this week. Let's see how that goes. As of right now, there is a trough across Jamaica, and by now you can relate to the weather report a little better when you know that the word trough speaks to some kind of disturbed weather, what some people call bad weather in terms of clouding, rain, or thunderstorms. In fact, as we've always said on this program, a trough is always associated with some weather activity, either directly or indirectly. So there is a trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to remain across the island over the next few days. The forecast for the rest of this afternoon into evening, mostly cloudy with showers and thunderstorms across sections of most parishes. There are other regional weather features we need to pay attention to. You never know. An area of low pressure across the southwestern Caribbean, a stationary front across the northern Bahamas, a tropical wave approaching the eastern Caribbean, and that one has a medium chance of development into a cyclone over the next 5 days. So let's continue to remain alert and make note of these key bits of information shared on this program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's properly introduce the program. Hoy es lunes, el 3 de octubre 2022. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est lundi le 3 octobre 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
If a child lives with security,
All we're saying is it's Monday, the 3rd of October, 2022, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Children learn what they live. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait the love in their heart, and they will find love in the world.
And boy, do we need prayers as well. St. Francis of Assisi died on this day in 1226. He was the founder of the Franciscan order. St. Francis was born at Assisi in Umbria in 1181 or 1182. The exact year of his birth is uncertain, but what we do know is that he died on this day in 1226. Some sources argue that there's no traceable history of the prayer being linked to St. Francis of Assisi. Perhaps the original publication of the prayer was submitted anonymously to the French publication La Clochette in 1912. And so the French would have recited it as such. Seigneur, faites de moi un instrument de votre pays. Là où il y a de la haine, que je mette l'amour. Là où il y a l'offense, que je mette le pardon. Là où il y a discorde, que je mette l'union. Là où il y a l'erreur, que je mette la vérité. Là où il y a le doute, que je mette la foi. Là où il y a le désespoir, que je mette l'espérance. Là où il y a les ténèbres, que je mette votre lumière. Là où il y a la tristesse, que je mette la joie. Ô Maître, que je ne cherche pas tant à être consolé qu'à consoler, à être compris qu'à comprendre, à être aimé qu'à aimer, car c'est en donnant qu'on reçoit, c'est en s'oubliant qu'on trouve, c'est en pardonnant qu'on est pardonné, c'est en mourant qu'on ressuscite à l'éternelle vie. Amen. The prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi in French. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there's darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. Let's stand by for today's edition of Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. With over 40 years of record service, Lock Safe and Vault Limited is your trusted security provider. Get affordable prices on a wide variety of seals, garage doors, access control supplies, magnetic lock, fingerprint, weatherproof keypads, card access system, time attendance, power supplies, and exit buttons. Professional services provided. Visit 40 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8. Problem solved with Lock Safe and Vault. Tune in to Farm Talk every second and third Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for the feature High Pro Food Independence. High Pro Food Independence will focus on solutions for farmers, such as land, animal husbandry, agronomy, and more. That's High Pro Food Independence every second and third Tuesday from 6:18 to 6:30 a.m. during Farm Talk, only on Power 106 FM. High Pro Food Independence is sponsored by High Pro.
For 50 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. And we continue to do this in 2022. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law, 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
It's a Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with, anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land. You've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is 876 Yeah, right. Thank you. So the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, and the text line same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions is 876 881 5254 876 881 5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email is gloria at landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutions at landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up at the offices of Brown, Findley and Company. In fact, there is a lawyer on duty every Thursday at the Ocho Rios offices of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, and therefore you can call the Ocho Rios office directly. That number is 876 974 6083, 876 974 6083. Or you can call the regular numbers for the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, 876 908 1950 or 876 908 3518. Let's remind you the numbers, the regular numbers to call throughout the program: 876 922 4113 to 5. In a moment, let's welcome attorney at law, Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon and good afternoon, listeners. Thanks again for tuning in to another edition of Land Solutions. As Dervan just said, I'll be your host for today, Calicia Findley, and I see the calls coming in, but let me just remind you to speak to me live on air. Please call 876 922 4135. 876 4135. And to send a message, whether by text or WhatsApp, send that to 876 881 5254. Again, that's 876 881 5254 for text and WhatsApp.
Sorry, Calicia, you might want to check on your connection. We have been losing you in terms of your audio dropping out.
Maybe. Okay, let me see what I can do.
That sounds much better.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Oh, what's out? My daughter got married recently. Can I use this as a reason to take her out of my will? You do not.
Uh-oh. Sorry, Calicia, hold the line, please. Have a word with Adrian and see what we can work out in the next few seconds or minutes. So hold the line, please, Calicia. This is Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. The numbers to call once again, 876-922-4113 to 5. 876-922-4113 to 5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but you can also send your WhatsApp messages. So that number for land solutions, specifically for land solutions, 876 881 5254. 876 881 5254. And as we stand by to reconnect with Calicia Findley, attorney at law, we encourage you to take advantage of this liberal service of advice to all of us as existing landholders or possible or potential landholders. All right, let's start again, Calicia Findlay.
Hi, Dervan. I don't think technology is my friend today. Is this any better?
Much better.
Thank you. And thanks to the listeners for their patience. Back to this WhatsApp message. My daughter got married recently. Can I use this as a reason to take her out of my will? So as I was saying, if you do not want to include someone in your will, meaning you don't want to leave something for them when you die, you don't need a reason. You can wake up on the wrong side of the bed and decide you want to change your mind. You need no reason at all. If you feel that you, and I see this happening a lot, sometimes with older persons, they feel if a child, particularly if their female child gets married, and that her husband will take care of her, so they don't need to will anything to her. That's a personal decision. I mean, as a female myself, I may disagree with it on a personal level, but it is entirely up to you. So if you want to take someone out of your will for whatever reason, you can. Don't feel that you have to include someone in your will just because they're related to you. And generally speaking, a lot of persons, when they will something to their child, they don't necessarily want that child's spouse to benefit. Because we know how it is with in-laws. We don't necessarily like our in-laws some of the times. So if let's say you're willing your house to your daughter, but you don't like her husband, and you don't want her husband to benefit, you can state in your will that I'm willing my house to marry on the condition that her husband is not able to benefit from it or obtain any interest in this house under the Property Rights of Spouses Act. So that means that if Mary lives in the house that you will to her with her husband, the mere fact that you stated in your will that you didn't want her husband to benefit means that he will not be able to benefit. So perhaps that's something you can consider. Maybe it is that it's not that you don't want to will something to your daughter, but perhaps you don't want her spouse to benefit. So you may want to explore it from that angle instead of completely removing your child, your female child in this case, from your will. Continuing, I've been trying to sell my house for over a year now with no luck. What can you suggest? Perhaps you may want to explore a price reduction. Is the price that you have it listed for really realistic? I know a lot of us may feel that a property is worth $15 million when in reality it's worth $10 million. So if you haven't done a recent valuation, you should have that done. If you're selling, you don't need to do a full valuation report. You can do a valuation letter. How have you marketed the property? Have you advertised it perhaps online in the newspaper? If that isn't working, perhaps you can try using a real estate agent. If you have been using a real estate agent, perhaps you may want to consider switching an agent or talking to them about how they are marketing your property. Does the property itself need to be repaired? Because a lot of times buyers are hesitant about spending money to purchase a property and then having to spend even more money bringing the property up to good condition. So perhaps there are repairs that need to be done. Maybe something as simple as a fresh coat of paint. But those are all things you may want to consider: reducing the price, changing your marketing, doing some repairs, and hopefully those will help. Let me know if you've considered those. Send me another message, and let me see what else I can suggest. Over to our Facebook page. Is a sale agreement valid if it's not witnessed by a justice of the peace? Yes, it is. A sale agreement does not have to be witnessed by a JP. In fact, a sale agreement doesn't even have to be witnessed by an attorney. It can be witnessed by anyone over the age of 18. So the fact that you have a sale agreement that's not witnessed by a JP doesn't make it invalid. Same with a will. A will does not have to be witnessed by a JP. You know, a will has to be witnessed by two persons, and the two persons over the age of 18 who are not getting anything in the will, or who are not related to anybody, who's not married to a beneficiary in the will. So a sale agreement does not have to be witnessed by a JP. A lot of persons, in an attempt to save costs, try to buy and sell property without legal representation. So they feel that once a justice of the peace does the sale agreement for them or witnesses it, that they're in the clear. But remember, a justice of the peace is not necessarily, and in most cases, a justice of the peace is not an attorney. So the justice of the peace may not know the law with respect to buying and selling land or conveying or transferring property in general. So you could have a sale agreement that's witnessed by a justice of the peace or even drafted by a justice of the peace, and it could still be invalid. I'm sorry to say. So out of an abundance of caution, please seek legal advice when you're buying and selling land. And remember, for those of you who are selling land, generally, you don't pay anything to the attorney up front. We take our fees when the sale is finished. So if you're worried about that cost factor, you don't need to be. And for purchasers, you can pay your legal fees in installments. Again, please ensure you get legal advice when you're doing anything in relation to land. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. It's here again! 24 Karat and Zoid in association with the Jamaica Race Drivers Club presents Heroes of Speed. Dover Raceway National Heroes Day, Monday, October 17. Come experience the thrill and excitement and see top racing drivers vying for supremacy and much more. Gates open at 7 a.m. General admission 3,000. Children 12 and under 1,000. Adults 6,000 and VIP 15,000. Limited spaces for VIP.
For 50 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. And we continue to do this in 2022. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us on Land Solutions during both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call. 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions. That number is 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up at the offices of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company. In fact, there is a lawyer on duty at the Ocho Rios offices of Brown, Findley and Company every Thursday from 10 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. And it means as well that you can call the Ocho Rios office directly, just as you would call the regular numbers for the law firm Brown, Findley and Company. Specifically for the Ocho Rios office, the number is 876-974-6083. That's the number for the Ocho Rios office of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, 876-974-6083. The regular lines of the law firm to connect you to the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. Continue with our WhatsApp messages. Good afternoon. Just need your kind advice. If you are living with your partner for more than a decade and he decides he wants to end the relationship, how do I go about this situation if it reaches the family courts? What are the do's and don'ts in going forward with this? All right. Do you own any property together? Do you have children together? Those are the things to consider. Are you married or is this your common law spouse? So let's touch on the property first. Do you own property together? Are both names on the title? Is it in just one person's name? If both names are on the title, then your interest is easier. Your interest is secure. I should say your interest is obvious and apparent. You can see it there on the title. Let's say it's just your husband's name alone on the title, or your spouse's name. You may want to consider how you can realize how you can get your share. If it can qualify, and it seems like it would be able to qualify as your matrimonial home, then you would be entitled to a 50% share. If you are not married, so if it's your common law spouse, as long as you can show that you have been living there together for at least 5 years, you say 10 years, both of you are unmarried, then it will qualify as your matrimonial home. So you would take steps. You can go to court. You can file an action against him so you can get your half share. Or the property can be sold and the proceeds split equally between you two. If, however, this happens quite frequently and it's unfortunate, let's say the property is in your spouse's name and his mother's name or his father's name or his sister's name, anybody else's name. Once a third party's name is on the title, even if you guys have been living there for the 10 years, as you say, then it cannot qualify as your matrimonial home. So that's something you have to consider. You may also want to consider putting a caveat on it. It's a temporary block. It serves as a notice in the event that your spouse is trying to transfer the property without your knowledge. If you have children, what are you contemplating? Do you want sole custody? Do you want joint custody? Do you need maintenance for the children? Do you need maintenance for yourself? Maintenance for the children is always a little easier to get instead of maintenance for yourself because each party has an obligation to maintain their children. A lot of spouses nowadays, they feel that if the other spouse makes a little more or substantially more than them, that they are automatically entitled to maintenance or support. In the U.S., is referred to as alimony. That's not necessarily the case in Jamaica. The Court will look to see if you are capable of supporting yourself. They will also look to see, let us say you have been a stay-at-home mother, wife, and your husband has been supporting you. In some cases, the court may say, yes, she's entitled to continue receiving this amount because she had been receiving it for all this time. But the court will also say, listen, you are able-bodied, you're not suffering from any incapacity or disability, why are you not working? So the mere fact that your spouse makes more money from you will not necessarily entitle you to get maintenance. So you have to look into property, maintenance for your children if you want that, or maintenance for yourself. So those are all broad things to consider if you are getting a divorce or if the relationship has ended. When it comes to the Property Rights of Spouses Act, you have within a year after the ending of the marriage or after separation, if it's a common law marriage, to file any claim. If you wait more than a year, you'll have to apply to the court for extension. So generally speaking, those are things that you need to look into if your relationship has ended and you see that it may end up in court. So go into an attorney as soon as possible, sit with them, have a detailed consultation so they can advise you further. And again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-411-325. The text and WhatsApp line, 876-881-5254. Email gloria@landsolutionsja.com. I have a two-part question coming in on Facebook, and the Facebook page again is facebook.com/landsolutions. Can someone who was once a tenant claim the house by adverse possession? And what's the difference between adverse possession and a squatter's rights application? All right, the first question. Can someone who was once a tenant claim the house by adverse possession? It is possible. When you are making a claim by adverse possession, you have to show that you have been on the property for at least 12 years undisturbed. So if you were formerly a tenant, let's say you moved in as a tenant in 1990, paid your rent regularly for 10 years, then for some reason you stopped paying, for whatever reason you stopped paying. And then now since that time, till the present, you haven't paid any rent, you have been there undisturbed, then in that case, you can make a claim for adverse possession. As long as you can show that no one has ever tried to take you out, more than 12 years have passed without you paying rent. So in a case like that, a former tenant can claim adverse possession. It actually happens quite frequently. The most common scenario is where someone rents property, the landlord migrates, weeks, months, and years go by. They don't hear anything from the landlord. They've lost touch, so they just stop paying the rent, and they're there for years. Then you can apply for adverse possession. If, however, you're a tenant, you're paying your rent, your monthly rent religiously, you're paying it, you've been there for 20 years, you pay your rent every month, you cannot claim adverse possession. Again, you'd have to show that you haven't paid any rent. Now, what's the difference between an adverse possession application and a squatter's rights application? There is no difference. It's the same application. I think people just don't like the word squatter, but if a squatter is making an application for a title, again, it's the same application. You both are claiming it adversely. So it's a possessory title, and you're making an adverse possession application, whether you are a former tenant or whether you are a squatter, you just took up possession there. As long as you can show that no one has tried to get you off, it's the same type of application. Again, some people think a squatter is a bad word, but they have their rights. If they can prove their time, they can apply. I signed up with a real estate agent to sell my land. He didn't do much, and I found a buyer myself. Now he's saying he will sue me if I don't pay the commission. Is this possible? Yes, it is absolutely possible. When you use a real estate agent to find a buyer for you, you usually sign an agreement with them. They have two types of agreements. One they call an exclusive listing, and the other is a non-exclusive listing. And what the exclusive listing says is that they are the only persons who should sell this property, and if they sell the property, they are to get a commission. You list it exclusively with them. But those agreements usually also have a clause that says if for any reason the property is sold by anyone other than them, as long as it is sold during the time that the agreement is valid, then they are to get a commission. The other type of agreement now is a non-exclusive listing, and that listing says anybody can sell the property at any time. Yes, you have signed for us to sell this property, but if another agent sells it, if you sell it on your own, that's fine. You won't have to pay us a commission. So I suspect you have signed an exclusive listing with this real estate agent. And something like this actually happened to a client of mine. He felt that his agent didn't do much, found a buyer, but he still had to pay the commission because it was an exclusive listing. Perhaps you can try talking and reasoning with the real estate agent. Say, hey, listen, you didn't do much. Can you not take the commission, or perhaps could you take a half of it or a percentage? See what you can negotiate, but they are right. Once it is an exclusive listing, you are entitled to, or I should say, you're obligated to pay their commission. It's sad because I know in some cases you list the property with someone and they really don't market it. But yeah, you have that agreement. So even though it may seem like it's a simple document, it's not the sale agreement. You really should seek legal advice before you sign any document, whether it's the listing form with the agent or the offer to purchase once you find a purchaser. So please seek legal advice. And like I said, see if you can talk to this agent to try and come up with hopefully meeting them, or them meeting you in the middle in terms of their commission. Feel free to send us any messages again to 876-881-5254. I'll try to get to them right after the break. This is Land Solutions.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3 o'clock.
For quick, accurate, and reliable blood glucose readings, get your AccuCheck Active and AccuCheck Performa with an easy-to-read display, results in just 5 seconds, and lifetime warranty. AccuCheck Active and AccuCheck Performa, because we care. Available in pharmacies island-wide. Distributed by Lasco Distributors Limited Pharmaceutical Division. Protect yourself and stay safe. Tune in to Farm Talk every second and third Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for the feature Hyper Food Independence. Hyper Food Independence will focus on solutions for farmers, such as land, animal husbandry, agronomy, and more. That's Hyper Food Independence every second and third Tuesday from 6:18 to 6:30 a.m. during Farm Talk, only on
get a property tax certificate. And also, you can go online, just enter the valuation number. It's that 10 to 11 digit number on your property tax receipt or your notice of assessment. Plug that in, and that will tell you whether there are any property taxes outstanding. A house I'm interested in buying needs a lot of repairs, but the seller says the seller says she's selling it as is. Is there any way I can get her to fix up the house before buying it? Well, if you beg and plead with her, but she really is under no obligation to bring the property up to a certain state. In Jamaica, you buy property as is. The seller sells it as is. It is taken that you have inspected the property, you are aware of anything that may be wrong with it, and you are taking it as is. So if the roof is off, if it's only the shell, if there's a willing buyer, the seller can sell it as is, and it happens all the time. But sorry to say, no, there's nothing you can do to force her to sell it to you, to force her to repair it. Perhaps you can have some further negotiations with her. If she doesn't want to do any repairs, perhaps you may negotiate with her to giving you a reduction. But if a seller doesn't want to, there's nothing you can do to move them. As I say all the time, if someone's house is worth $5 million and they found somebody who will want to buy it for $10 million, there's nothing to stop them. They can go ahead. So good luck with that. I'm sorry. There's a second part to this question also. If you buy a house and realize afterwards that it has a serious defect, can you get any compensation? No. And it would follow from what I was just saying. You buy the property as is. So once the property has been transferred to you, you take it on with all responsibility.
Use this.
Which is why you have to do your due diligence before. Do your valuation report, do a structural engineer's report, do a surveyor's identification report. As soon as your name goes on the title, as soon as the seller gets the money, they no longer have any responsibility for the property. So you can't say, listen, you should have told me that there was a leak. Absolutely not. Sometimes, generally with new developments, once the transaction is finished, you have a 6-month warranty period. It varies. Some people do 3 months, 5 months, a year. But generally, you have a warranty period when it's a new construction. So if anything happens within that period, the developer will fix the property. But if it's not new construction, no, as soon as it becomes yours, it's your responsibility. And the same goes for the size of the property. Let's say you enter a sale agreement thinking the property is 3 acres. But after the sale is finished, you do your survey and you realize it's 2 acres or it's 2.5 acres. You can't then go back to the seller and say, hey, you told me it was X, but instead it turned out to be Y. Because it is upon you, the buyer, to do your due diligence, to do your checks, to make sure you are getting exactly what it is that you want. So I'm sorry, you would have no recourse. Is there any way, sorry, this message is coming in parts. Is there any way you can stop an apartment complex from going up? I live on a street in the corporate area that has about 8 apartment buildings. That's all too common. And I really don't think we need another one. The roads are bad, traffic is a nightmare, and there's no privacy or peace and quiet. Please help. So again, is there any way you can stop an apartment complex from going up? I live on a street in the corporate area that has about 8 apartment buildings, and I really don't think we need another one. Oh, my dear, what can I tell you? You can object, but it may not necessarily get you anywhere, especially because there are already other apartments. Usually, once a developer wants to build an apartment complex, one of the things that they can rely on is that there are already similar type buildings on the street. So that would mean that any existing restrictive covenant, any restrictive condition on the title is no longer valid, since others would have been able to build. If you can, let's say you're in a situation where the building has started, if you can prove that they have built against their or in contravention of their zoning approval, then perhaps you can get a stop order to have it modified. But what I see happening nowadays, you see, is that eventually, even if you get a temporary stop order, eventually the development will be able to go up. Perhaps there will be some modification, instead of them being able to build 20 units or 30 units, they may get a lesser amount. But it may be a challenge, especially in the corporate area. So good luck with that. You can perhaps try talking to the developer. If it is that you have a specific concern, let's see if it can be addressed. I recall a situation once where someone felt that because it was a high rise, everybody was able to look right over into her backyard, so they were able to put up some shutters and some higher fencing to alleviate that issue of privacy concerns. But it may be difficult, but see what you can do. What is the fee charged by a real estate agent? Generally, it is 5%. The commission is 5%. It's negotiable. Some agents charge 3%, and usually it's 3 to 5% plus GCT. If it's land, sometimes it's 6%. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. The Caribbean Maritime University, an ISO certified institution, offers Bachelor of Science degrees in cruise shipping, Bachelor of Engineering degrees, logistics, marine tourism, port management, security administration and management, and more. For further information, call 876-924-8150, 876-924-8175, or email info@cmu.edu.jn.
For 50 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. And we continue to do this in 2022. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
It's the final segment of Land Solutions for today, Monday, the 3rd of October, 2022. And it's a glorious opportunity to get in any further questions, any burning questions that you have, and you've been a little too shy to come forward and call and ask questions. Now would be a good time. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112. 4113 to 5, 876-922-4113 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, and that number is 876-881-5254, 876-881-5254. On, the website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. And you can also go to Facebook, facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up. The numbers to call the law firm Brown Findley and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. You can always call the Ocho Rios office directly, as we've been telling you, and that number is 974-6083. That's 876-974-6083. And remember, there's a lawyer on duty every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Ocho Rios offices of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company. Once again, here is attorney at law, Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. Miss Findley, I heard...
Sorry, we have a caller for you, Calicia.
Thanks, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm trying to speak and advise information about a certain land matter.
Sure, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay, back in the 90s, my grandfather had passed away, leaving 2 children, during which one of them, which is my aunt, went and seek power of administration, during which she went back to the court and claimed that she is the only participant for the deceased.
I'm sorry, he's the only one? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
What was the last message that they went to the court and saying that they're the only what?
Participant for the deceased.
I'm just not hearing you. They're the only what?
Participant.
Okay, all right, okay. Yes.
So doing that, recently I found out what she had done and actually sold the property because she realized that if I started to do any form of digging up a little bit more, she would be in a problem because of who also assisted her in signing the documents.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find out what is the best solution.
All right. How long ago was the property sold? Do you know? Hello?
Hello?
Caller, the question is, how long ago was the property sold?
In August.
This year?
Yes, it is.
And when did she get administration? What date?
She got it, I'm not sure. It is actually August 2001.
Okay, 2001.
Yes.
You see, if she is the sole administrator, she would have the right to sell the property. However, if she lied to the court and said that she was the only administrator, the only person entitled to it, then the family can sue her. So you may not be able to get back the property because it perhaps can be said that it was a legitimate sale to a bona fide purchaser, but you may be able to sue her.
Okay.
Yes. Does she have other siblings?
Yes, my mother, which is mentally incompetent.
Uh-huh.
And at that moment,
do you by any chance know if did she send any notice to your mother when she was making the application?
No, my mother is not. Sorry for this. She had the brain capacity of a 5-year-old. So
I understand that, but I'm just wondering, was anything ever sent to her? I'm just wondering if your aunt can show that something was sent.
No, there was nothing.
Okay. I think I want you to call me maybe tomorrow or later on, because you may be able to have some recourse against your aunt. Because if she, let's say she says that she's the sole administrator or she's the sole beneficiary, that would not be the truth, because your mother would obviously be entitled to it. And given that your mother has a disability, there are certain things that would have had to be put in place to protect your mother's interest. So your aunt may have acted fraudulently.
Okay.
All right, so just hold the line, and I'll have the producer take your number, and I'll give you a call.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Take care. Continuing with this message, Ms. Finney, I heard what you said earlier about developers. I bought an apartment in a brand new development, but I wasn't able to travel to Jamaica because of COVID. Now that I'm able to travel, I realize there are problems, but the developer says 6 months have gone and he's not liable anymore. The apartment was empty and never occupied, so I don't think it's fair. Oh boy, this is a sad situation, but it is the developer is correct. Once the 6 month period has passed, what we call the warranty period, then any issues in the apartment would now be for the owner to correct. So I take the point that you weren't able to travel because of COVID. I take the point that it's a brand new place. It was never occupied, locked up all this time. So maybe the property, when it was finished, maybe it wasn't finished properly, it wasn't constructed properly, maybe the problems were there all along. But because they were not reported within the 6 months, the developer can escape liability. So for those of you who may be facing a similar scenario, as soon as you finish a purchase, if you can't visit the property yourself, as much as possible, try to have someone here at home visit the property on a regular basis, every week, every couple of weeks, to see if there are any issues. They need to do a thorough inspection, and we know how it is. You may walk into a new property, look around, everything looks fine, but it may be weeks after that you realize there's a problem. So try to go there when it rains, go there at night, go there in the morning, but try to do it within the 6 month period. So unfortunately, I'm sorry, you may just have to end up fixing these yourself. So if you can, try talking to the developer again, but you won't be able to have any legal recourse because the 6 months have passed. How long does a subdivision take? It's been over a year, and I think my attorney is taking too long. Subdivisions generally take about 18 months to 2 years, and they can take longer. They can take much longer. I'm surprised you say that your attorney is taking too long because, and I think a lot of persons they think it's the attorney who is responsible for the subdivision, but it really isn't. The application for subdivision is done by you, the landowner, usually in conjunction with your surveyor. So between yourself and the surveyor, you submit the application to the parish council for approval. And then once the application has been approved, the attorney then comes in and makes the application for the different titles for you, or to do the modification of the covenants if that needs to be done. So I'm not certain of your situation if your attorney is the one who took it upon themselves to handle the subdivision application for you. If that is the case, talk back to your attorney. But in any event, even if your attorney says, yes, I will handle the application for you, once the application is submitted, it is really up to the parish council. And the parish council has to send it to several agencies all over, which is one of the reasons why it takes so long. So it may not necessarily be your attorney's fault. If you're not hearing anything from the attorney, contact the parish council yourself. Once the application is submitted, you will have a reference number. But again, you say it's over a year, it probably is still just going through the regular channels. But you can't hurt it to check directly with the parish council. My brother and I have 2 houses on one piece of land our father left to us in the 1970s. Can we apply for 2 titles separately, or does it have to be one title? You can apply for 2 titles separately, especially because so much time has passed, and I'm going to assume that you both have been living in your separate houses undisturbed. So what each of you would do is to get your piece surveyed. So you would have 2 survey diagrams, and then each of you would use your survey to make your application for your title. A lot of people sometimes feel that because it's one piece of land, they have to apply for one title, and then afterwards they do the subdivision it is actually longer and a little more complicated that way. So get your separate diagrams and then you each go and make your individual title applications. My mother had a mortgage with a bank and she paid it off. However, she died before being able to collect the title. I went to the bank recently with her death certificate, my ID, and my birth certificate to show that I am her daughter, but they won't release it to me. They are correct. They can't just release it to you. You would have to have a grant of probate if she left a will, or a grant of administration if she did not leave a will. So you have to have that order from the court. So I don't doubt that she was your mother and that you are who you say you are. But for the mortgage company, and even for us as attorneys, if we're handing out a title and to someone who is that belong to someone who is deceased, I should say, we need to have a grant of administration or a grant of probate, because what if the mortgage company were to just go ahead and give you the title, but then someone else is legally entitled to the property? What if your mother willed it to your brother or to someone else, and then the mortgage company turned around and gave you the title? Not only could your brother sue you, but they can now turn around and sue the mortgage company. So out of an abundance of caution there, and I don't blame them. This is the policy, and it is a good policy. You have to have probate if she made a will, or administration. So even if she made a will, you are the beneficiary, you would have to show the grant of probate, and it's the executors who the mortgage company would release the document to. So what you need to do is have your mother's estate sorted. If she left a will, get it probated. If she didn't, apply for administration. And there's absolutely no way around that. So get started on that as soon as possible. That's about all the time I have for today. Thanks, as always, for tuning in to Land Solutions. Thanks, as always, to Dervan, Adrian, and the entire team at Power 106. I've been your host for today, Khalesia Finley. Take care.
Protecting Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30. The Caribbean Maritime University, an ISO certified institution, offers Bachelor of Science degrees in cruise shipping, Bachelor of Engineering degrees, logistics, marine tourism, port management, security administration and management, and more. For further information, call 876-924-8150, 876-924-8175, or email info@cmu.edu.jm. There's a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with only approximately 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people do not participate in a formal pension plan, such as contract workers and the self-employed, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement Wealth Creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
For 50 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. And we continue to do this in 2022. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. They will find love.
On the heels of today's edition of Land Solutions during both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, it's time now for both sides of the story proper. Both sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. And right now we have a couple of Jamaicans who are abroad. They live in Jamaica, but they are abroad. These are public servants who are on board for the UK leg of the Access Jamaica series, which is powered by the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, which has as its CEO Mr. Andrew Winter. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Well, good evening or good night. It's now 9:33 p.m. In Are you in London or Birmingham? Greetings, Mr. CEO. How are you? Hello?
Hi,
There you are. Hearing you now.
Dervan.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Charlton McFarlane. This is actually the CEO for the ad for Jamaica.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. I get it now. I get it. So let me get it now. We don't talk often enough for the name to be cemented. But so this is because I'm sure I got another name. Just a second. Sorry about that. Right. So it is Mr. Is it Charlton McFarlane?
Yes, it is.
Right. Mr. Charlton McFarlane is the CEO of the Registrar General's Department, and he's in the UK now, along with Mr. Andrew Winter, the CEO of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency. Thank you, Mr. McFarlane, for joining us. How are you?
Thank you, Dervan. And good afternoon to your listeners. It's afternoon. Yes, it's after 3, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm doing good. We had a good day today in London at the Legacy Center.
Right. Well, let's get some background and then we come back to you in just a moment, Charlton McFarlane. Andrew Winter, welcome.
Hi, Dervan. How are you doing?
I am fine, thanks. Can you remind those of us who know and enlighten those who don't as to the purpose of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, Access Jamaica program?
Well, the Access Jamaica thanks for that, Dervan. The Access Jamaica program is our initiative by the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency to re-engage the Jamaican diaspora. This is an event in which we go to the diaspora and we offer passport, immigration, citizenship, and immigration services to the diaspora. And we also invite key stakeholders to join us on these initiatives so that the diaspora will be able to access services. We are joined in the UK by the Registrar General's Department, who will be providing birth certificates and other services to the diaspora here. We're currently in Birmingham. So the Access Jamaica is a critical thing. I always say your passport is your key to access your services in Jamaica. So we're providing the key.
Yes. And what can you tell us about how today went? Would today be the first day of your outreach in the UK?
Yes, today was fair to find. We had quite a number of people. As you know, today is a Monday, and we did get above expected numbers in the UK, in Birmingham, and quite a few people came in, and we're actually looking for a much better day tomorrow.
And tomorrow, where will you be?
We'll still be in Birmingham.
Okay.
And then on Thursday, we go to London.
Right. And Charlton McFarlane, what has the experience been like for you so far on this PICA Access Jamaica program? And based on what you have experienced so far, what has it been like?
I must say that it has been really good. The services of both agencies are really complementary. So this is actually not our first time on this initiative with PICA. We would have been with them in Orlando earlier this year in March, I believe. Right, but what we find to how complementary the services are, but us being there with PICA really provides a one-stop shop. As many of the persons, what they are demanding is, citizenship by descent, and that is where the RGD comes in because, to access those services from PICA, the gatekeeper really serves, the gatekeeper to access those services is really the birth certificate. Right, so persons will come to us to apply for the birth certificate and then just move right along to PICA now to access their services. So it's really complimentary. Today was a good day, given the fact that it was a Monday, as Andrew would have said. Tomorrow, we're expecting an even better day. Once word gets out, nothing spreads better than word of mouth.
Yes.
And so persons who would have come today, I'm sure they will be telling their friends that, the services are here, the services are efficient, and they should take advantage of it. So we look forward to a much better day tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And Mr. Winter, we did get a call after we spoke with you the last time. Don't remember the gentleman's name now, but he is based in the UK and more precisely in Manchester in the UK. And he's a little disappointed that the Access Jamaica, the UK leg of the Access Jamaica program, will not be in Manchester, England. And he sounds like one of those Jamaicans who believe that they should have the same thing that any other group of Jamaicans anywhere else should have. So I'm sorry for you now. The word is out. Yes.
Dervan, coming out of this experience, and in fact, we did hear that from the person representing the diaspora in Manchester.
Yes.
And, Dervan, every year we look for new locations. So I have no doubt that Manchester will be one of our locations in our planning for the future.
And so far, sorry, go ahead.
And we will definitely put Manchester on our list as one of the locations that we need to go.
So far in your interactions on the ground, yes, it's early days yet, but from your interactions so far, any indication as to which area of the services that you offer at PICA was in demand today, and you're likely to see demand growing going forward?
But Dervan, this area that we saw a lot of interest in was the citizenship by descent. Quite a number of persons came in today for their children and their grandchildren requesting citizenship by descent and also applying for passports for their children and grandchildren. So that is one area that we have been seeing quite a bit of growth on nearly all of our Access Jamaica initiatives.
Very good. And let's get back now to Charlton McFarlane, CEO of the Registrar General's Department. Can you give us a sense of the matrix in terms of how this works now? Because you do offer some of your services online. You also, obviously, you have offices across Jamaica, and then now you are a part of the Access Jamaica, the UK leg of Access Jamaica. How do you coordinate that now? You're there now in the UK. You have your team. Well, you and members of your team are in the UK. Your on the ground team here in Jamaica, and you have your digital platform online that Jamaicans can go to from wherever in the world they are and access services. How is that? How has that come together, or how is it coming together in terms of these different elements in providing the services you provide at the Registrar General's Department?
Okay, so what we are trying to do is to increase access and increase access points. But in addition to that, we are also trying to increase the ease of access. And one of the things we have seen an interesting nuance in the demand, especially coming out of the UK, the demand is either for persons who are a bit older or persons who are applying for persons who are a bit older.
Yes.
Right? And so we do have, some amount of issues with those birth certificates. What we realize is that many certificates that were issued prior to 1940 or thereabouts were issued without a complete name and so on. And so they have certain technicalities that while we do offer those services online and while persons can engage with us via our numerous platforms, I find that many persons look forward to having an agent, a rep in front of them to power them through it, to simplify what they may consider to be complex methods and complex requirements. So it really works. Persons are very appreciative, and that was borne out today in the demand, right? And we expect it to continue to be borne out over the next few days in Birmingham and also in London.
Right. And Andrew Winter, what do Jamaicans in Birmingham and indeed in London need to know before turning up to any of the Access Jamaica sites, for example, where you started today at the Legacy Center of Excellence at 144 Potters Lane in Birmingham, which is where you'll be tomorrow as well? What do they need to know? What do they need to take along with them as they seek to take advantage of this very special one-on-one service to Jamaicans in the UK?
Well, Dervan, I think for those Jamaicans who are renewing their passport, the old blue book, the hardcover ones and those old handwritten ones, they need to bring their birth certificate. They need to bring a form of national ID and 2 passport photos. If they don't have the photos, we'll get the photos for them and they need to complete the application form. For those who have the work on the passport, if they have made any changes, they just need to come with their birth certificate and the passport, and we certainly can facilitate them because we have a turnkey situation. We have our JPs on location, so we can do the notarization of pictures, and we are ready for them. But it's important that they bring their documentation if they have gotten married. And unfortunately, Dervan, they either have to bring cash or a money order, because international money order, because in order we haven't been able to have that kind of banking arrangement. Mm-hmm. So the important thing is to have their documents, bring their birth certificate, their marriage certificate. If they have had any name change, to bring the deed poll so that we can have those documents there to prepare and issue them with the new passport that they want. And, Dervan, I must say that the persons today are so appreciative of the services that are being offered to them. They have asked us to come back already if we can come back in 6 months' time. Yes. But as you know, that would be in the middle of winter, and that would be a challenge.
Ouch. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:46 on Power 106.
Tune in to Farm Talk every second and third Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for the feature High-Pro Food Independence. High-Pro Food Independence will focus on solutions for farmers, such as land, animal husbandry, agronomy, and more. That's High-Pro Food Independence every second and third Tuesday from 6:18 to 6:30 a.m. during Farm Talk, only on Power 106 FM. High-Pro Food Independence is sponsored by High-Pro.
13 minutes to 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica, which makes it 9:47 p.m. in Birmingham, England. That is where the CEOs of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, along with the Registrar General's Department, that's where they are right now, playing their part in service to Jamaicans in the diaspora. And that service continues for those of you who missed today at the Legacy Center of Excellence, 144 Potters Lane in Birmingham. The team of the Registrar General's Department and the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency will be in Birmingham tomorrow as well. So it's today and tomorrow at the Legacy Center of Excellence, 144 Potters Lane in Birmingham. Spread the word in the UK. Tell your relatives and friends and neighbors and colleagues of this development uh, to make arrangements to apply for your Jamaican passport, Jamaican citizenship. There's also the matter of unconditional landing. And this one is not too popular for whatever reason. When I say that, meaning we hardly hear people talking about it. And so we usually like to use the opportunity of these conversations with CEO Andrew Winter to remind uh, Jamaicans in the diaspora of the significance of unconditional landing. So please take that opportunity now, Mr. Winter.
Yes, unconditional land is the immigration status which is provided to Jamaicans who have dual citizenship. And we know that some Jamaicans don't like to carry both passports. But once you bring your passport of the country that you have adopted along with your birth certificate, and you're satisfied that you're Jamaican, you have acquired your Jamaican citizenship, whether through birth or through descent or through some other means, we are able to grant you unconditional landing in your passport. So whenever you come to Jamaica, you can remain there as long as you so desire.
Yes.
You can work, you can access all the benefits based on that immigration status that you would have.
And Charlton McFarlane, for those who are perhaps wondering, well, how much of the or how many of the suite of services they'll be able to benefit from right there on spot, on location at the Legacy Center in Birmingham at Potters Lane tomorrow and for the next couple of days coming up that we're going to mention as well.
Well, I think it's easier for me just to say the service that they will not be able to access, which is just the late registration, right? So that's the only service that persons will not be able to access because of the nature of it. But outside of that, persons can come and they can apply for birth, death, marriage certificates, adoption certificates. They can apply to update a record. They can apply to amend if an error was on the record, right? And they can also come and apply for our genealogical research service, right? So we do have pretty much 95% of all services available on the request in London and in Birmingham.
And that means that you obviously are in constant contact with your team in right here in Jamaica. So that if there are decisions to be made, you're already on spot and as an authority and having the power to act when it comes to certain decisions. Yes, that's one of the special things about the program. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, in fact, I have a team that will be going on duty at about 1:30 in the morning Jamaica time.
Whoa.
Which will coincide with when we start early in the morning in Birmingham,
Yes.
right, to offer the type of support, both technologically and also in terms of researching records in the vaults and so on. So, it's a full operation, not just what is visible in Birmingham, but also back at the RGB head office. We have a team there working at that time.
Yes. Andrew Winter, it sounds like a classic case of the heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upwards through the night. So you're the ones toiling upwards through the night while we are sleeping. That's what real service is about. That's what quality service is about. So now, Mr. Winter, for your part, in terms of the services, pretty much the main services, and you were mentioning unconditional landing as well.
Citizenship by descent,
Mhm.
all the passport services, replacement, renewal, and first-time applicants. The persons that have lost their passport will be doing that replacement. Citizenship by descent and immigrate unconditional landing from the immigration perspective.
Right. All right. So let's talk about the rest of the tour now. So today was day one in Birmingham, and day two is tomorrow in Birmingham again at the Legacy Center. What's the rest of the schedule looking like, Mr. Winter?
And then when we leave Birmingham on Wednesday and we go to London, and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll be at the St. Mary's Centre in Lewisham in London, providing the same suite of services. And we'll be joined by the RGD, VMBS, Jamaica National, and NCB.
Oh,
Who
that's
will be, and the International Integrated Diaspora
services.
Organization who will be joining us to provide these services again to the Jamaicans living in the London area. And in fact, we have heard that persons from the continent might be coming across to access these services.
As in people from Africa? Goodness.
Well, we're here from Europe.
Oh, elsewhere. Okay.
France and Spain might be coming across.
Okay.
Certainly to access these services.
Very good. Sounds like you have more than enough to keep you quite busy, and also the other half of the team in Jamaica just as busy. As we said, time isn't a factor. If there's work to be done, the work gets done, and that's how it should be. So now, in terms of the services for those who access these services offered by the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, and the Registrar General's Department, RGD, on their UK leg of Access Jamaica. What determines the timeline within which their documentation is processed?
From the PICA standpoint, we have said 25 working days, because we know that one of the things that the diaspora has complained about is the long turnaround time. So one of the things we have guaranteed pretty much is 25 working days for the citizenship by descent and most of the passport services. Once you acquire citizenship by marriage, that will take a little longer time, which we are praising. But they certainly will, within 6 weeks of us returning to Jamaica, be getting back their passports, and that is something that they are highly appreciative of.
Very good. And what about your level of efficiency, Charlton McFarlane, at the RGD, especially in dealing with processing the documentation needs of Jamaicans in the diaspora, here in particular in the UK?
So for the RGD, our turnaround time is 10 working days for persons to get back their fully processed computer generated certificate. But we do have a secondary option of 6 weeks as a review start, right? But for primary product, the turnaround time is 10 working days to have those documents processed and sent off.
Yes. And Andrew Winter, in terms of the general, how do we you I'm trying to remember. Oh, no, it wasn't you. There was a that was something else I was thinking of. But to get back to the rest of this tour, for those listening to us who perhaps are just learning of the presence of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, and the Registrar General's Department, RGD, being in Birmingham today and tomorrow at the Legacy Center, and then in a couple of days from the 6th to the 8th, setting up at Lewisham Parish Church of St. Mary the Virgin, 346 Lewisham High Street, London. For those who are just learning about the presence of PICA and RGD in the UK, is it too late for them? Do they still need to go online and register, or can they just turn up at the Legacy Center as they did today and will tomorrow? Uh, well, you can explain in a little while, and also for Lewisham. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
Yes, Dervan. Even though they have registered, they are welcome to turn up. We are ready to serve everyone who comes.
Mhm.
So if for those registered and those unregistered, they are all welcome. And they can just turn up.
Yes. And it sounds like a bit of expansion by the time you get to London in terms of the participation of other key and diaspora stakeholders. That is intentional, isn't it? To have some kind of just tell us the purpose of that kind of additional holder participation, in particular for the London leg.
Well, the additional stakeholders, certainly one of the things we know a lot of Jamaicans, but they want to know to be able to banking and other financials, but they want to acquire homes and land and invest in business. And in many cases, they need to reconnect with the country. So that is why we have invited the other stakeholders, so partners, to participate with us. Because I think I remember that a few weeks ago, Dervan, on one of your Saturday programs, a lady called in and said at one of the Initiate Access Jamaica, she was able to get her passport, get her TRN, open a bank account, and she does a one-stop shop.
Yes.
So this is one of the things, the advantages of acquiring our Access Jamaica services.
Yes.
As we said, the purpose is to enable Jamaicans in the diaspora to be able to access all the resources and the facilities in Jamaica so that they can participate and put somewhere in the development of the country.
Sounds good. We perhaps could make another link with you before you leave the UK, but for the time being, we're out of time. Mr. Winter, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the work you and your team are doing. And the same for Mr. Charlton McFarlane, the CEO of the Registrar General's Department. So thank you very much, gentlemen. And let's see if we can get in another link before.
You can call us on Friday in London or Saturday, and we'll certainly be happy to speak to you.
That sounds great. Will do. Be safe now. Take care. All the best, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Dervan.
It's been a pleasure. You're welcome. Charlton McFarlane, CEO of the Registrar General's Department, and Andrew Winter, CEO of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA. They are in Birmingham right now, and they had a full day today between 9 and 3, I believe it was, with the Access Jamaica initiative.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4:01 on Power 106. included as well, we have Dr. Maria Smith, who is being honored at this third annual awards fundraising banquet, a night of excellence for Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corps. The Signature Grand is the venue in Davie, Florida, and only 300 seats available. And you're encouraged to purchase your tickets now. Don't delay, because the event is scheduled for Saturday, the 8th of October. That's Saturday coming, Saturday, the 8th of October. Donation of $130 now, or $150 at the door. Remember, it's in the name of the development of Tivoli Gardens High School. And we have names and numbers for tickets. Pam at 347-645-7718. Bionic at 772-284-1407. Jackie at 646-379-7916. Anthony at 770-402-6374. And there's hotel accommodation at Holiday Inn Express. If you need more information there, you can call 954-585-7071. So this is happening on Saturday, the 8th of October. Let's see how the connections online are going before we bring... Okay, Papa Michigan has joined. Papa Michigan, how are you?
Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Mitchie. Take the sticky off of the mic.
Are you there now, Michigan? Not yet. All right. Remember to unmute, because what we're using, the platform we're using, which is Teams. It's important that you look at the indicators at the bottom of the screen, and you will know if your microphone is muted or whether it is in fact live. So that's what we are suggesting that our guests do. All right, so let's, in the interest of time, we don't want, airtime is precious, we don't want it to go to waste. So let us keep the conversation going and get some specifics now, some background as well from Dr. Michael Weir, who chairs the... And first of all, you'll have to explain this to us, because I'm not accustomed to the designation. What you have here is Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corps. Now, I'm not sure if I should say Corps with the P being silent, short for corporation. So maybe you can explain that for us, please. Corporation.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation. This is the significance of calling it a corporation as opposed to association, as opposed to a society, etc.
Well, when we formed the organization, we signed it up as a corporation. That's why it go with that name, and it has track in it also, because it was 5 past track star from the organization. Myself, Lieutenant Stitchy, we have Neil Harrison, we have Messias, Errol Messias, and
hold on, Errol Messias. That's the same Mr. Messias, who's also a coach at Calabar?
Yes, and also Neil Harrison is the coach for JC.
Look at that.
Coach for JC, Jamaica College.
Well. So
yeah.
So you've had members of Team Tivoli Gardens working behind the scenes in these coaching positions. What a thing.
I don't think they're working behind the scene because Neil Harris is the head coach for JC.
When I say behind the scenes,
junior coach for the national team.
What I mean is that for those who didn't know, I didn't know all of this. Now that you're telling us, I didn't know. Because normally when when you mention Tivoli Gardens, it's usually performances and dances and all kinds of other activities. But we didn't get too much of the coaching side. Yes, there's the football, without a doubt. Tivoli Gardens has always done fairly well at football. But that's quite something. Hold it right there. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:15.
For 50 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. And we continue to do this in 2022. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4h16. 现在 TDN 了4DN 是了分 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Well, those who are on this call right now representing Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation, they've done their homework. That's why they are where they are. Ghost, Lieutenant Stitchy, Papa Michigan, and of course, the lady of the moment who will be honored, Dr. Maria Smith. I believe others will be recognized, but there's a special honor in place for Dr. Maria Smith of Tivoli Gardens High School. And that's going to be quite something. Sorry. So let's come back to Dr. Weir. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, hearing you clearly. Right. So the corporation, is it just to represent Tivoli Gardens past students, Tivoli Gardens High School past students in Jamaica, or Jamaica and the diaspora, home and abroad? How does it work as an organization?
Well, if you understand, you have a lot of elite school in Jamaica, and they call them old boy association or alumni association for many years.
And they do call some of them old girls associations too.
Yeah, one of them. But you see, Tivoli Garden never really have a solid one. And Tivoli Garden been there for over like 50, this year probably like 52 years or 53 years, something like that. So in 2017, we decided that we're going to form an organization because we need a safety net for those young ones that slipping through the crack all the time, because you see, they don't have this kind of help. Yes. And if you check it out, the schools that really survive and do well is the one that have the alumni association. So we get together and say, you know what, we have to do something about it. And, this is it. We started in 2017. And one of the first things we do, we honor the man that built the school, and former Prime Minister and the late Honorable Edward George Seattle. We honor him at the first event. And in the process, we're honoring people who were part of the brand new Tivoli Garden High School. And Dr. Maria Smith is one of those persons. Yes. And unfortunately, the late Grant Woodham, she passed. So she never get a chance to, be honored in that sense. But we are going to do something for her at the event.
Yes. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Hmm. Right. So I gather Abby McDonald has joined us. Hi, Abby. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. And I hear you are going to be ministering musically at.
I will be.
Please tell us what we can expect.
Expect fun, expect a great time because whenever we plan something like this, we plan to have a great time.
Yes. And what does Tivoli Gardens High School mean to you?
Oh my gosh. It Tivoli Gardens High School made me a well-rounded woman. Believe me, it did.
Yes.
And I am grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful that I actually went there, believe me. And for the people that I've met that helped me to transform my life in such a positive way and looking at the other side,
Yes.
because sometimes we grow up, but we only know one side. I tell you, this school is well-rounded, and I honestly wish that a lot more of these schools in Jamaica would have a lot more programs, as Tivoli High School has.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Very, very well established in that regard is Tivoli Gardens High School. Thank you, Abby. Stay where you are. So tell us, second chance. Is it that you got a second chance at Tivoli Gardens High School, or it's an allusion to something else?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Greetings. Yes, man. Welcome. Hearing you loud and clear.
Oh, wonderful. Bless. Well, the funny thing is, I was born and raised in Maple Clarendon. Went to Garvin Massey High School.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not an alumni of Tivoli Gardens.
That's fine.
But I was invited as a guest to minister at the function.
Yes. And where do you draw your inspiration from in your ministry?
I pull it from the island of Jamaica, first and foremost, and of course the Lord Jesus Christ. So definitely. But in terms of this event, I believe as a Jamaican, Tivoli represents, like half our country. It's like a man say where I come from and he said Tivoli and it's like yo, respect. So inspiration as a youth, strength.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
That's as a Jamaican.
Right. Absolutely. How would you describe your kind of gospel? We have all kinds of mixes, reggae gospel and country gospel, etc. uh, what is your preference?
My preference is definitely the reggae. Definitely inspired by man like Lieutenant Stitchy, Papa San. Been listening to them from I was a youth.
Yeah.
Even before I got saved, they got saved actually. So definitely my strongest influences are from those generals.
Yes. And of all the recordings you have put out so far, which do you find to be the most uh, that demonstrates exactly who you are as an individual and your choice of music?
Well, I have a lot of them, and to be honest with you, my mom inspired me to do a revival type song,
Okay.
Which is a deep culture in Jamaica also, and that song has been called the Maple Medley, and that has very been the most influential song that I've put together so far. But as you know, I reside here in the United States, and the reggae gospel, had a hard time catching roots amongst the Christian folks, but it's catching on, and so we take our time how we do it.
That's right. What about you, Abby? What are some of the sounds we need to listen out for, the musical renditions?
Definitely gospel reggae.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, one of the songs that I plan to do uh, is featured Stitchy on it.
Oh.
So that song is
How,
just awesome.
how did that come about? That collaboration? You were talking about Tivoli Gardens High School, and it came up. I'm kidding.
Well, I used to sing background vocals for Stitchy.
Uh,
For about several years, I sang background, so I know him. So
Okay.
when I started to sing on my own, I did this song. It's called Hiding Place, and I figured he would just be great for it. So I called him up, and he was like, "Yeah, sure," and he did such an amazing job
yes. Right.
as usual.
Is that your story that you were hiding by not being upfront? I mean, because you were a backup singer all this time, and then you decided to muster up the courage. What if you are we? Am I reading too much into that?
Yes, it's not that kind of hiding.
Okay.
It's hiding in God,
Understood.
sometimes when we go through stuff
Yes.
and we're experiencing stuff, and you want to just hide away,
Yes.
but instead of just hiding away like you lock yourself in a house, you hide in God.
Understood. Understood. All right. So is Papa Michigan still on the line?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Yes. So you did what is it? This year time flies. Is it this year or last year that you did the festival song?
I did the festival. It was 2 years ago with Bujo Banta.
This my goodness, time flies already. So
2020.
So what are you up to these days?
Well, still working, doing my thing, and as usual, the place just opened back, so it's gonna take a little time for everything evolve. So I'm still in the studio working.
Yes. And of course, everybody has been saying throughout the pandemic that 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 there would be some kind of a windfall. So once the country um, started to reopen, that you will have people just like going crazy, hosting events and fundraisers and this and that and so on. Have you been seeing that in your line of work?
You know what? Honestly, not really. But it's happening though, because it just opened and then you have so much different type of stuff happening. You have the oldies, you have the soca, you have the reggae. So of course there's a lot of things all compact. But as far as my stuff, it is maybe about 50% up. But that's a plus though.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that is from your rise and it's happening, it's gonna soon take more. It's so add on, and I'm optimistic. So things is happening.
That's very good. And why did you say yes to the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation when they asked for your support in staging their third annual awards fundraising banquet at Signature Grand in Davie, Florida?
Because 1978 I lose the Manning Cup while playing for Tivoli, and 1979, 77 and 78 I lost the Manning Cup, but I won the Walker Cup. So I need to go and tell the people, I need to remind them that this is Papa Michigan.
I had no idea you were such a prolific footballer.
For real?
So,
yeah, man, I did. Yeah, man. Actually, that's how I became famous is football. And while playing football, then I sang Rubber Dub Style. So it just blew out of the water.
I see. That's
The garden gave me all of that. The school gave me all of that.
Mm-hmm. Very well, very well. All right, hold it right there. We're up on a break. Hold the line, please, and let's see who else is online. So we have spoken with Second Chance, Abby McDonald, Papa Michigan, and Dr. Michael Ware. And of course, singing sensation Ghost. And let's see who else we'll be connecting with when we come back from this break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Children learn what they live. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, love in the heart, and they will find love in the world. Children learn what they live.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:30. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:30. 现在，地点了4点13分. 4:30 in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. The program is both sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad, here on Power 106 FM, a member of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group. We've been featuring members of the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation, singing sensation Ghost, Second Chance, Abby McDonald, Papa Michigan, and Dr. Michael Weir. They will be supporting, and they hope you will too. You will join them in celebrating and supporting Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation's 3rd annual awards fundraising banquet, which will take place at the Signature Grand, 6900 State Road 84 in Davie, Florida. The zip code is 33317. It takes place on Saturday, the 8th of October, that's Saturday coming, starting at 8 in the evening and going until about 1 the following morning. And Dr. Maria Smith of UNESCO in Jamaica, she has done some outstanding work, and Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation will be recognizing her work and also celebrating other recipients as well. So it looks like it's going to be quite an event, and you can spread the word. Lieutenant Stitchy is also going to be on board and playing his part in terms of adding value to this 3rd annual awards fundraising banquet. No, we don't have him online, but Dr. Michael Weir, can you say a little more with respect to the recognition of Dr. Maria Smith and the how as an organization, the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation has set about recognizing this outstanding Jamaican?
Yeah, one thing I can tell you, this is a woman of wisdom, a lot of wisdom. And we as the track people back in high school,
yes,
she was like a angel God sent to kind of help us out. Because I tell you the truth, for me, she was the wind beneath my wings. It's so funny that she used to be the head for the track team. I was a captain of the track team. I didn't tell you that I run track and field. But she was the head, and when we go to track meet, they used to laugh and say, "Oh, your coach is a woman," because them time you never really find woman coach man, but she was the head of it, and at the time when she was the head of the track team, we finished in the top 5 and I think 9th place in boys champs. And she was also the force behind basketball championship, field hockey championship, dance where they go to this little theater and bring home gold.
JCDC Festival of the Performing Arts. JCDC Festival of the Performing Arts. Yes.
Exactly. So because of her, Tivoli shined for all those years. And I hear Michigan talk about him lose the Manning Cup. But guess what? We win one in what, 76, right?
Yeah.
And we win one in 99.
That's not bad going
So
at all.
It wasn't too bad, you know.
You got that? You heard that, Michigan?
Thank you very much. Thank you for that clarity. Yeah.
Or,
you know, that was good. We were like the elite school for sports in general.
Yeah.
Because we go up against the top school and beat them.
Yeah.
So we have no regrets. And this is the reason why we formed this organization. Because what we are doing here is trying to get back Tivoli to that elite status in sports.
Yes.
And I know that sports is what gets your school up there, and then the academics follow. It's not the other way around.
Yes.
Sports put you in the limelight, and then everybody want to go to your school because you're good.
So you have to then raise the bar and raise the standard in terms of academics.
Yeah, so that's why it's so important that this woman, Dr. Maria Smith, get this Lifetime Achievement Award. We're going to learn a lot more about her at the event, her personal achievement, which if I start talking about this,
we'd need another program.
All the time.
Yes.
For me to talk about her fully.
Yes. So now, have you identified a particular project at Tivoli Gardens High School to channel some of a significant portion of the fundraising dollars to? Is that readily identified, or are you going to leave it up to the school administration at Tivoli Gardens High School to say which initiative or which program or project at the school could benefit most from the funds you're looking to raise at your third annual awards fundraising banquet on Saturday in Davie, Florida?
Yeah, we've been collaborating with them since we started in 2017. And we provide food for the athletes. We provide water tank because you know the issue with the turn off the water and then they don't have any water, and sometimes school have to get out early because they don't have any water. So we get them a real big tank and we solve that issue. And then when the COVID come, we get them some tablets. And what we're doing today, we're trying to make a big dent in the issue. When I say a big dent, something that can last for a really long time, and the world can see that Tivoli is back on top. Because I always say the motto for this organization is time to rise. Because I think Tivoli been down there for too long.
Yes.
And unfortunately, when you start an organization and it's new, it's like kind of like when you're trying to get a job and you don't have any experience, and they say, we can't hire you because you don't have any experience. And this is your first job you're going for. So, it's kind of like if you have people give you, if you don't have people don't give you. So we're in that stage now where we're starting out so obvious so we don't have.
Yes.
And we're trying to get people to come in and join the force that we can now have something to make a big dent in the school and get them back up to speed.
Yes. Yeah, well said. Very well said. And what can you let's see, who else is online who we need to bring into the conversation? We just have been able to connect with Lieutenant Stitchy for whatever reason. Gontanalaf, the MC, no connections there. But in the meantime then Dr. Ware, can you give us an idea of the kind of interest or support you've been getting since publicly alerting Jamaica and the world that the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation will be having your third annual awards fundraising banquet? Is it too early to say how things are going, what in terms of ticket sales, etc., and maybe phone calls coming and going across the Atlantic and beyond in maybe mobilizing additional support on the ground here in Jamaica and in the diaspora for the activities of Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation?
What I can say, this is the reason why we're on this radio right now, because we need people to come in and join, support the thing.
Yeah.
You know, we have so much kids in Jamaica, and not just Tivoli School, but kids in Jamaica. They're so talented, and they never get the chance to blossom and fulfill their goal. You know, and in particular, Tivoli Garden, we understand the situation or where the school located, and because of that reason, I think they probably get the worst. So we calling out to everybody who graduated from Tivoli, our friends of alumni at Tivoli, to support the thing. If you can't make it to the event, just make a donation.
Well, tell us about that. How can we donate to the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation?
Well, I can tell you, we have PayPal, we have Zelle, and we have Cash App. And the information I could, send it out. I don't have the detail, but the number you can call, as you read it earlier, is 772-284-1407. 772-284-1407. If you call that number, you can get all the detail that you need, how you can make a donation to support these kids down there in Tivoli Garden High School.
Yeah. And what about social media? Is Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation on social media as well?
Yes, we're on social media. We have a website. We have a Facebook, so you can go to the website at tghsatc.org. That's the website, and it's TGHS Track Corp for the
for Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's say a bit now. We see the lineup. We've had the privilege and pleasure of interacting with some of those who are going to bring their talent to bear on Saturday's Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation fundraiser, third annual awards fundraising banquet. But give us an idea. What else do you expect to happen? What else do you plan to roll out without telling us too much? In general terms, at the event, what can people expect? Why should they journey to 6900 State Road 84, Davie, Florida, for the third annual awards fundraising banquet of the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation?
Well, I can tell you, I don't think anybody ever put together this kind of force. Stitchy goes Michigan, Second Chance, Abbey, Gunter and all off. Can't beat that. Support the thing.
Yes.
Come and enjoy, man.
Yeah.
Come and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Definitely. We trust that not just past students of Tivoli Gardens High School, but other just members of the general public. One way of making your contribution to education and by extension to the development of Jamaica and the world. It's a no-brainer, wouldn't you say, Dr. Weir?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this may be a once in a lifetime putting together. I don't know what's gonna happen next year. Yeah. But what we try to do, we try to, have it in New York, have it in Florida. Who knows? We might go to Jamaica and then we'll go to Canada because we want to get everybody
on board
and give them a chance to say, yes, it's at home.
Yes. Right. I know we've mentioned Dr. Maria Smith a lot, and you've given us an indication as to why, based on what you have said. But what about Sonia Ashley? That's another of the names I see.
Well, Sonia Ashley is a special situation because when I was in school, Sonia Ashley used to be I believe, at that time I was a kid, I wasn't sure what the position was, but she was working with the principal. And then many years after that, I went back to Tivoli School for this whole thing about the alumni association.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who I see was there? Sona Ashley was still there. And she'd been there for like almost 40 years.
Whoa.
Maybe she might say, Dr. Will, don't talk about that. You know? So the work that she put in all these years, because you know it's not easy, right? When you work in a high school, you have to work with those young kids who don't know them head from them toe, you know?
Yes.
It's not easy. And she tolerated that for so many years. And as I said, what we're doing first is to honor those people who make those sacrifice. They make a lot of sacrifice. And I feel, these things touch my heart when I remember all those people who look out for me. You know, we all started out with nothing, start at square one. And because of those people, we get a chance to go from this ugly duckling to this beautiful swan. If you know what I mean.
Yes, indeed. One moment, please.
Yeah.
We're going to take another break, our final break before we get ready to close the hour. And it's been quite something so far. We've enjoyed it, and there's more to come.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-9224-11225 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在TDN了5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. And good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? We've been having a very productive session on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's we're just days away from the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation third annual awards fundraising banquet, which is scheduled for the Signature Grand at 6900 State Road 84 in Davie, Florida, starting at 8 in the evening, going on till 1 the following morning, featuring singing sensation Ghost, Lieutenant Stitchy, Second Chance, Abby McDonald, Papa Michigan, Dr. Michael Weir, and Dr. Maria Smith being recognized. Dr. Smith, and if I didn't get this information, I would not have known. I thought Dr. Smith was only involved in the arts. I had no idea she had a sports side to her. And we are sure all of that will be poured out during the third annual awards fundraising banquet. So let's see now. Let's get a few seconds of some soundings in terms of our artists and ministers of the gospel who are going to be on hand on Saturday evening from midnight until 1. So let's see who wants to start us off with a few seconds of your favorite or one of those recordings you are looking to get out there right now, and that you will also be performing at or ministering or sharing at the third annual awards fundraising banquet. You want to? Would you like to go ahead? Ghost, are you there?
Hello?
Ghost, that's you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So giving you an opportunity to give us any one of your recordings of choice, a few seconds or a minute or so.
Well, I just put out this new song titled Beautiful Feelings on all digital platforms.
Mhm.
So you can just go on all digital platforms, iTunes, Spotify, and type in Ghost Beautiful Feeling. And the song goes like this. Beautiful you are. It's a demo like this. I can't imagine living life in it's without you, baby. You are the rhythm that complements the words, girl, to my song. There's nothing like this feelings to me that I've ever known. Thinking it's a dream I'll be awakened from, 'cause I never, ever felt like this before. Rainy days, sunny weather. You're that saying, girl, it's been more than a pleasure. Floating out of and you're all that I'm needing. What a beautiful feeling. And that's a brand new original song from your host, Ghost Rider, your soul provider. We all know the sing over them like no matter how hard I try, you keep pushing me aside and I can't break. Yeah, so you're gonna hear something like that when they come support the cause, right?
Indeed. We're looking forward to that. And Papa Michigan, your time.
Well, definitely, we have to talk to Jamaica and say, why you murdering the children of tomorrow and the youths of today? Yeah. See what you done now when Jack call you on that judgment day. You have to pay. Even if you run figure guns and ammunition, boy, you never get away. No way. He was
Sounds like you have a backup. Is who that doing backup? Yes. Second chance, your time.
Oh, Jesus. These guys all feel love, man. Wow. But from a ministerial point of view,
yes.
One song I would like to put forth at this moment is a song that my latest release that says, you don't know where God brought me from, yeah. And you don't know where He found me now. Oh, Lord, you don't know the hell that I've been through, yeah. And you don't know where He's taking me, yeah. So there is no one that can worship God for me. There is no one that can worship God for me. So I came myself, worship by myself, Lord. I came myself, worship by myself. A big up to the guy. Bad.
All right. Yes, indeed. Stay there. Abby McDonald. Ready to hear from you, Abby. Musically.
Without your love, nothing ever work out. No matter how we try to keep the faith and stick it out. It's gonna be a rough day, even when we get on our knees and pray. And all the riches in the world, the diamonds and the pearls won't profit me a thing. Without the love of God in me, my life means nothing. Oh, yeah. Na 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 na.
Beautiful.
Life is nothing.
we could go on all afternoon, but we're gonna have to wrap shortly. So then, Dr. Weir, your word to all of us at home and abroad as far as the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation is concerned. as we wrap, some key pointers that you'd like our audience to take note of and to pay attention to.
Well, what I can say about this event, people go and make sure you pay for your ticket now, because if you book your flight and you book your hotel and you're coming from out of town and you never pay for your ticket, sorry, if we reach the number, you can't get in. That we can't violate the rule. So they tell you, go buy your ticket now, pay for your ticket right now. 772-284-1407. Call that number. You get all the detail how you can go and pay for your ticket.
All right, sound advice there. And finally, Dr. Ware, did you tell us what Tivoli Gardens means to you? I think we got some of that based on what you said in terms of people
Hear
like
to
Dr.
me,
Maria Smith.
hear what I said.
Yes.
Hear the motto for this event.
Yes.
I am Tivoli Garden High School, and I'm going to dare everybody to say the same thing.
I am Tivoli Gardens High School. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what it means to me.
Yeah.
And everybody should take it personal. You see, a school is supposed to be personal.
Yes.
Especially if they have problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're supposed to want to fix it or help to fix it.
Right. And it's so good
giving back.
Yeah, it's so good to see this rich collection. You're part of a rich collection of past students who obviously have made and continue to make an impact on whichever space you occupy, and that is something special, and it should serve to inspire the current crop of students at Tivoli Gardens High School. As we said, we could go on forever, but we're going to have to leave it there. In terms of, remind us as we wrap, Dr. Michael Ware, how people can follow the work of the Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation.
Well, just become a part of it, and you will get all the information you need continuously. We have the website, so we'll post everything that we do. We'll post on the website so you can follow up.
And that website is tghsatc.org.
Yes.
Yes. And of course on
tghsatc.org.
That's it. And on Facebook it's TGS Track.
TGHS.
Uh-huh.
TGHS Track Corp.
Mm-hmm. So TRACKCORP. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So after 3, 1, 2, 3, let's hear a shout for Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Association. 1, 2, 3.
Time to TGHS.
All right. Looking forward. Thank you very much. Well done. Congratulations. Blessings and peace to all of you. All the best.
Thank you very much too for having us.
It's the least we can do. As I always say, you're the ones doing the heavy lifting. We're just happy to be able to share your work with Jamaica and the world. Well done. All right. Take care, listeners. You've been listening to Dr. Michael Ware, singing sensation Ghost, Second Chance, Abby McDonald, Papa Michigan, and of course, they are one way or another connected to Tivoli Gardens High School Alumni Corporation. Check out their 3rd annual awards fundraising banquet at the Signature Grand, 6900 State Road 84 in Davie, Florida, this Saturday, 8 p.m. until 1 a.m. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. In the meantime, we see the multiple messages popping up. Jacqueline Simmons, Exley Montgomery, Rudy Page in London, Norman Hines in St. Thomas, Mikey D in the UK, Faye Weller, Sharon Richards in Savannah Lamar. Let's see, Inez Iona Campbell, somewhere between Connecticut and Kingston. Pat Morgan says, hello, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. And I am from England, listening your viewers. Keep up your good work. Thank you very much, Pat Morgan. Blessings to you too, Mikey D, Cherry Henry, Velta Wilson in St. Thomas, Natalie Winter in Washington Gardens, Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine, Pastor Evangelist Sandra Fraser, hello to you. And all the others, Asher Ash in London. Velta Wilson says, bye-bye. It's nice to see how dynamic the Tivoli Gardens alumni is. We're out of time. Thank you, Adrian Reed, for doing technical and production duties behind the scenes. Thanks to you, our faithful listeners, and indeed our guests for making it both sides of the story. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM. Now.
Hello.
Good afternoon. I am Dervan Gordon.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, honey. Thanks.
Segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Monday, October 3, 2022. Kingston Technical High student charged with murder. Turks and Caicos Islands appealing for support from Andrew Holness-led administration to combat Jamaican-related gang activities.